Welcome to the world's #1 fitness business podcast for health club owners, gym managers, and fitness entrepreneurs. As always, this will be a great show as we have another expert to help your fitness business and your career. We'd like to thank our premier sponsor, Active Management, for supporting us, and we highly recommend becoming a member of Active Management to strengthen your business in 2016. There are loads of resources members receive, so join the Active Tribe today at www.activemgmt.com.au. Now that's enough from me. Let's welcome the show's amazing host, Chantal. What's on this week's show?
Thank you, Harper, and happy Podtober, everyone. Welcome to week 1 of our huge month of Podtober. As mentioned last week, we have a massive lineup of guests on their way this month. And kicking off our very first Podtober show is none other than the king of podcasting himself, Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire. Now, thankfully, I recorded the interview a few weeks ago because, as you can probably hear, I have managed to catch a springtime cold. It's spring here in Australia, so I'm a little blocked up today. But as they say, the show must go on. Now, before we get stuck into the interview with JLD, I think you know that I'm always looking for people to come on the show, and it feels like ages since we've had a listener interview. So this is your chance. If you love the show, if you love podcasts, and if you fancy having your voice played out all across the globe, then I want to hear from you. Just head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and click on the contact button. Send me your details and I'll be in touch. It is that easy.
The Fitness Business Podcast is very appreciative of our podcast partners. Here's a quick word from one of our partners.
Active Management helps owners and managers have the business work for them. Test the quality of resources with a free download at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active. This week's flashback show is show 33 with Michelle Seeger. She wrote the book No Sweat: How the Simple Science of Motivation Can Help You Deliver a Lifetime of Fitness. It is one of my all-time favorite shows, and it's one of our most popular. So if you missed that show, go back and check it out. It's show 33, and you can find it on iTunes or at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Tribe, last but not least, just a reminder of the other guests that are coming your way during Podtober. We've got the author of Hug Your Haters, Jay Baer. We've got the chairman of URSA, Rasmus Ingerslev. And we've got the editor of Health Club Management magazine, Kate Cracknell. I promise you that there is a bucket load of great information coming your way. So make sure you stay tuned right throughout the month. Okay, Tribe, now, Lee Dumas is the founder and host of EOFire, and an award-winning podcast where he interviews today's most inspiring entrepreneurs 7 days a week. With over 1,400 episodes and 7 figures a year in revenue, JLD has shown the world the power of podcasting, and I love that. Prepare to ignite. I feel like I would like to have your accent to say that. Can you do the prepare to ignite?
Are you prepared to ignite?
I love it. I love it. JLD, are you ready to Fitspire our global tribe of fitness business owners and managers today?
Let's light this on fire.
I love it. Okay. Now, I just mentioned you are known for your amazing daily podcast. So here's your chance. Do you want to give EOFire a bit of a plug and tell our tribe all about your show?
Yeah, so 4 years ago, I was a consumer of podcasts. I loved driving around, listening to great podcast episodes with inspiring entrepreneurs. It was just a great way to use my time in the quote-unquote automobile university. But something that I saw was missing was a daily show that interviews successful and inspiring entrepreneurs and really focused in on their journey, not just the good times, but the bad times and the lessons learned from those tough times. And again, the show did not exist. So I decided to be the change I wished to see in the world, to quote Gandhi. And back in September of 2012, I launched EOFire, Entrepreneur on Fire. Here we are 4 years and 1,400 episodes later. It's now a 7-figure-a-year business showing that you can generate massive revenue delivering free, valuable, and consistent content.
I love it. I love it. And Tribe, I mean, JLD has interviewed people like Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, Barbara Cochran, Tim Ferriss, Brian Tracy, and over 1,000 others, as he just mentioned. I don't know about you, but I personally, what I love is the takeaways that I get, which is a bit selfish, out of my show. Do you feel the same about your show?
100%.
But we can be a little bit selfish every so often.
Totally.
So tell us this. I'm keen to understand some top insights that you've pulled away from some key topics. So let's run through a whole lot of topics. If you can give to me, what are a few key takeaways that you've learned, first of all, from guests on social media?
So for guests on social media, I mean, this is the thing. Everybody can just go to that typical quote or to what is, working now and just, that latest, greatest, little tip, tool, or tactic that everybody seems to be using. What's going to make longevity successful in social media is you finding your voice and sharing your own personality within that social media. So every post that I have, it's usually a video, or at least it's really written in the same way that I talk, because when you're doing a podcast, people get to know your personality, and I want that personality to shine through in everything that I do. So you need to be you. You really need to just make sure that social media posts that you're putting up there are really being able to be resonated by your audience. And so just find your voice and just shout it from the rooftops.
Great advice. How about on this topic of marketing?
You have to know your one perfect avatar. You need to know who you're marketing to on an absolute level. Like, I just know 100% who I am speaking to every single day with my podcast, with my Snapchats, with my emails, with my social media. I know who I'm marketing to, and I speak directly to that person.
That's a great advice. And I might just remind our tribe right now that we actually did have Sean Greeley on the show recently, who took us through those steps to creating our avatar. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that, JLD. How about on the topic of managing your team?
What's important about managing your team is that, number one, you're creating and building the right team first. And building the right team means you're finding people who are strong where you're weak. Like, a lot of people try to just be good at everything. You're not going to be good at everything. Know your strengths and spend all of your time there and amplify those strengths. Know your weaknesses and hire and build your team around your weaknesses. And then guess what? Once you have that team in place, because you built it that way, managing it is simple because you put the right people in the right places who have strengths in those areas. Now let them go. Don't micromanage.
One of the things that I love that you have on your website, JLD, is that you actually showcase those people that make up your team.
Yeah.
And I also love that so many of them are virtual. They're not, sitting in the office next to you, are they?
No, we have a complete virtual team, 4 people in the Philippines, 1 person in Pakistan, 1 person in Puerto Rico. I mean, we are a global team.
That's sensational. Okay, what about on the topic of leadership?
See, leadership is going to come from you standing for something that you truly believe in and then just leading by example. This is something I learned in the military. You are going to have followers who believe in the actual example that you're setting, and you need to make sure that you're living that example day in, day out.
Absolutely. And this one is something very close to your heart, entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, you have to be unique. Like, what are you really doing that's different than other people? Like, what is your unique spirit animal within your entrepreneurial world? And just be true to that spirit animal. Like, wake up every day, put on that spirit animal, and just rock with it and be that spirit.
What's your spirit animal?
The Wolverine.
Wolverine, I love it. Last but not least, keeping balance in a busy entrepreneur's life.
It's interesting. I'm not a huge believer at this point with the quote unquote work-life balance. I feel like people that don't like their work, they need to have a work-life balance because you don't like your work. So you better be having time when you're not doing work. Otherwise, you're just going to hate life because you don't like your work. For me, I love my work. I love doing it. So, it can really kind of intermingle and commingle and just kind of really flex and flow throughout any given day. So I just make sure that I'm getting enough sleep, that I'm exercising every single day, that I'm taking breaks when I feel like I need breaks, that I'm meditating and journaling, and then everything else seems to kind of take care of itself.
You're a runner, right?
Yes, I run 4 miles on a trail every day.
And so tell me, how do you feel if you don't get that run in?
I just feel like I'm a little sluggish. I feel like, I'm less energized and less happy, to be honest.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, now let's talk about the Freedom Journal. I would love you to tell our tribe a little bit about the Freedom Journal, which I believe last time I checked had something like 14,000 editions had sold of the Freedom Journal. Do you want to give us a little bit of an overview of the journal and perhaps maybe a scoop on some of the steps that you take when it comes to achieving a goal?
Yeah. So the question that I would get from my listeners, Fire Nation, over and over again is, John, you've now interviewed over 1,400 successful and inspiring entrepreneurs. What's that one thing that they all have in common? Like, what's the secret bullet for success? And, I would just say, well, listen, there's no secret bullet. They all work really hard. That's one commonality. But the other commonality that I realized that all of my guests have is they know how to set and accomplish goals. And I realized that a lot of my listeners who are struggling in life were struggling setting and accomplishing goals. So I set out in 2015 to research the crap out of goal setting and to learn as much as I could about it. And then I decided to put together what turned out to be just this beautiful, stunning, hardcover, gold embossed journal called the Freedom Journal, which is a step-by-step guide on how to accomplish your number one goal in 100 days. And it was just a passion project, again, for an entire year. We launched the Freedom Journal on Kickstarter back in January of 2016. And in 33 days, we did $453,000 in revenue, becoming the 6th most funded publishing campaign of all time. And something I'm really proud of, too, is that we had partnered with Pencils of Promise. So we built 2 schools in developing countries, one in Ghana, one in Guatemala, through that campaign as well, which was just really cool. And then to this day, the journal just keeps on selling. And as you mentioned, we're now over 14,000 editions sold. And just, we're coming up on our 1,000th person accomplishing their number one goal in 100 days, which is so exciting to see. It's something that I'm just so passionate about, because once you accomplish that one big goal and you knock over that domino, you start that chain reaction of awesome, which, for me was EOFire, and everything that I've had as a result, in the last 4 years has come from accomplishing that number one goal. So it's a passion project of mine, and it's something that I'm really excited about.
It's something you should be incredibly proud of. And Tribe, if you want to check out the Freedom Journal and get your own copy, you just head over to EOFire.com, and there are links through the website to grab that. Now, JOD, I know that you are a fan and a friend of Gary Vaynerchuk. So first things first, I'm going to put it out there. If, there's any chance you can put in a good word for us, we'd love to get him on the show. Cool. But he talks about giving free content to potential customers in order to build trust. Talk to us. What's your feeling on that particular business model?
I totally agree. And I think a perfect example in my business would be a free podcast course, which is a completely free podcasting course that I just have available for anybody that wants to learn how to podcast. We, back in October of 2013, launched Podcasters Paradise, which is a paid premium community that teaches you how to create, grow, and monetize your podcast. And I said, you know what? I love it. But, not everybody's ready just to jump in and pay, the entry fee for Podcasters Paradise to learn all this content. So I want to create something that's completely free, that's just going to get people excited about podcasting, but it's going to be, a complete course all the way from creating to monetizing your podcast and the growth in between. So that's where the birth of freepodcastcourse.com came. We've now had over 25,000 people go through that course, and many of them have now turned into Podcast Paradise members. So a lot of people are like, John, you're shooting yourself in the foot, by doing that, because now nobody's going to join Podcasters Paradise. But it's been the opposite effect. I've given incredible, free, valuable, and consistent content through the podcast, through emails, through social media, and then now through courses like freepodcastcourse.com. And when people are now going to turn because they want more, they're going to turn to someone they know, like, and trust. And that, oftentimes turns out to be me, somebody who's delivered that content to them for free. And it's just been a great way to grow a community that now, for us, Podcasters Paradise has over 3,000 members, has generated over $4 million in revenue, all because of that system.
So if we were to put that concept in the mind of a gym owner or a fitness business owner or a personal trainer, do you have any content ideas that they could share with their audience?
Yeah. I mean, what if you were, a fitness trainer and you were just saying, hey, I'm going to, at no cost and, really no commitment to you, I'm going to teach you over the next 2 weeks, how to shed 5 pounds. And then you're just going to give them, an eating plan and then an exercise regimen. And then at the end of those 5 weeks, they've gone from 250 to 245 pounds. You better believe that they're like, wow, this is feeling great. Who's the person they're going to go to take them from 245 down to 180? It's going to be you. So put something out there, and again, this is you being able to leverage and scale your time, because you're just giving them a regimen that they can follow or not follow. And so it's no real added work on your end. just the possibility of you building a trust with somebody that could become a client down the road.
Great suggestion. Now, your time is precious, JLD, and I'm going to wrap us up and finish you off on one more question. You up for this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hoping that you can share with us your very best Fitbispiration and tell our tribe your top 3 business tips that will strengthen their business. Before we hear JLD's top 3 tips, here's a quick word from one of our sponsors. Are you interested in increasing your center's income and your trainer's income from small group training? Tribe Team Training is the new way to get more members engaged in small group training and paying extra. Click the Tribe Team Training link in the show notes or go to tribeteamtraining.com.au/podcast for your free formula to see how much income you can make from small group training. Tribe, let's tune back in as JLD gives us his top 3 tips to strengthen your business.
Take people inside of your life. Take people inside of your story. Like if you're a fitness professional, like don't just let people see you at the gym crushing it. Like have them see you like in the morning, just dragging yourself out of bed, like being like, oh, I'm tired, but I'm going to do this because I'm committed. Like have them like see a picture on your fridge of you when you were fat so that when you open your fridge, you remember, hey, I don't want to look like that. So I'm going to choose a healthy option. Take them with you into the grocery store and show them, how you're just shopping on the edge of the supermarket. So you're just doing the vegetables and the fruits, and the meats, and you're staying away from all the processed crap in the middle of the store. Like take them on that story, take them on that journey and like connect with them on a real level. You can do things like that through Snapchat, through Instagram stories. There's some great opportunities for you doing that for sure. And then your top 3 business tips after listening to your interview. Okay, so top 3 business tips is number 1, be you. Like you are standing up on the shoulders of giants. I am standing up on the shoulders of giants. Like we've learned from those who have come before us. But listen, find your unique voice within that. Like what makes you unique? What makes you different? Stand upon shoulders of giants to learn from those who have come before us, but find the unique you. And number 2, top business tip is be consistent. Like don't just do something for a week and then be like, oh, that's not working, I give up. So many people do that. I could have easily given up after a month, 6 months, a year of EOFire, and I never would have achieved the success that I did. I stayed consistent. And I think a good thing that we can finish on is because it's kind of been a theme of this chat is free. Don't be afraid to give away things for free. It's built my business to where it is today. And I really believe it's going to build your audience. And it's just good because you're getting great content out in the world and it's all going to come back to you.
JLD, I want to thank you so incredibly much for appearing on the show. I'm a massive fan. It's an absolute thrill for me to have you and for me to be able to share your experience, your insights with our FBP tribe. So thank you.
Get ready for this week's bonus segment, your extra injection of information, education, and inspiration to strengthen your fitness business.
Hey Tribe, as you know, we like to bring you a special listener interview about once a month. And this week's special guest is Belinda Risley from Motivate Training. Welcome to the show, Belinda.
Hi, Chantel. Thanks for having me.
We are very excited to have you on board. Now, before we get cracking and talking about podcasts, do you want to start by telling everyone about your business?
Yes. So I'm the owner of Motivate Training. We're an online sport-specific training company for motorsport racing car drivers.
That is very cool. And tell us, what's so different about Motivate?
Our USP is the fact that we offer not only exercise and nutrition programs, but we also have sports psychology, sponsorship, and social media.
So that is really different. And I also love the fact that you are so niche. Quite often on the show, we've spoken before about the fear that a lot of people have about going really niche. Now, you are focusing just on that one category on motorsport training, right?
Yes.
I mean, that is incredibly niche. And how is the business going?
Fantastic. The last couple of months, we've grown internationally. So we're now servicing New Zealand, UK, and the US.
That is phenomenal. Well, congratulations on that. So, look, I got you in today so that we can talk all about podcasts. Tell us this. What is it that you like about podcasts?
I love the fact that you can be learning anything at any time and anywhere. So you can be learning things about sales to social media and just general business whenever suits you.
That's really cool. And now I know that you've been listening to the Fitness Business Podcast for a very long time now. So what is it about our show that you enjoy?
Obviously, that's most relevant to our industry, being in the fitness industry. But I really love the fact how approachable and contactable the guests that you have on your show.
Okay, that sounds really cool. So have you followed up after previous shows?
Yeah, so I've contacted about 4 or 5 and established great working networks with them.
I am so glad to hear that. That's really, really awesome. And it's a good time to remind everyone that, of course, we always put the guest contact details in the show notes. So if you want to get in touch with them, like Belinda has, then you're more than welcome. Just need to head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and check out their contact details. Belinda, can you share with us some of the takeaways or ideas that you've been able to get from listening to the show?
Yeah, going through them, as you said, I've been listening from day one. It was really hard to find just 3 ideas and insights and reminders, because I honestly get something from each and every episode, whether it's just something small or something that, I can instantly implement into my business. From sales into even hiring group fitness instructors, I somehow feel that I can integrate it into my online business. So it was really hard coming down to 3, but the first one I went with was with Andrew Simmons in episode 67, which was around about the establishment of systems, and his referral to the E-Myth book and about how he was able to basically build his franchise of the fantastic systems that he had put into place initially.
That's a great one, actually, Belinda. I might just say Andrew is the king of systems.
Yes.
And for anyone that hasn't seen that show, Andrew's from Vision Personal Training. It's the largest franchise in Australia and New Zealand. And he really sort of said, look, the reason he's been able to have the success that he has is because of the systems that he's implemented across the business. So great example.
Yeah. As my business is online, I got a lot of value out of episode 35 and 36 with Sean Bester about how fitness professionals can maximize online leads. And that was really the start of my journey with Motivate Training, becoming it online. And some of the key points that he said about a funnel is a journey someone takes from being aware of your brand and product to actually becoming a customer. I've actually printed that off and I have that on my wall. So when I'm thinking about anything to do with my business, that's the thought process that I'm kind of following.
Oh, I love that, Belinda. And that makes me so happy to hear that. And Sean Bester was amazing. He was from Lead Pages, and across both those 2 shows, they were probably the chunkiest shows I think we've ever done as far as jamming in a whole lot of information into 2 shows. So good point. If there's anyone out there that is looking to build their lead funnels to really establish their business online, those shows 35 and 36 are good ones to tap into. And you have one other example for us?
I do, and I have to go with my bestie, Vicky Saunders, in episode 62. As I said, one of the elements that Motivate has is sponsorship, and so she's actually our sponsorship consultant. And so, I really was really passionate about working with Vicky, but also just about the importance and the benefits of a partnership. So those that are solopreneurs, that, we don't have to do it by ourselves, that there are experts that you can actually connect with and make a bigger and better product for you to work with.
Yeah, Vicky gave some really great examples of how to do that and how to get sponsors into certain events and how to work with anyone from, athletes to people that can represent your business. So great example as well. Thank you so much for those, Belinda. Now, tell me this, who would you love us to interview in the future, and what's one question that you would like us to ask?
Yeah, so that was really hard. I've been pondering about it for a few hours, and really when it came down to who would I like to interview, one idea I'd like was just about small business owners, having a bit of 5 quick wins they've had and how they actually run their businesses. I thought would be a great idea. But also I'd really love to hear from Amelia Phillips, who is a co-founder of the Michelle Bridges 12-Week Challenge, obviously because she's works behind the scenes, and about how they really brought the concept online to fruition.
That's a really great suggestion, Belinda. So basically for anyone that's listening outside of Australia, to put that into context, so Michelle Bridges is our Gillian Michaels of The Biggest Loser in Australia, and Michelle went about establishing, along with Amelia, a huge online offering, which is the 12-week body transformation that Belinda just referred to. So as you mentioned, Amelia Phillips is her business partner and is a phenomenal businesswoman and incredibly good at building a network online, building a community online, I should say. So I think that's a fantastic suggestion. I would love to get Amelia on the show, and I do know her, so I will reach out and see if we can get her on.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Well, Belinda, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish you all the very best with Motivate. I love how niche your business is, and I really encourage all of our tribe to jump on and check out your website because it is a very cool website. You've got heaps and heaps of elements on there, and as you say, lots of support from contributing people on there as well. So congratulations on that, and I hope you continue to enjoy the show.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chantel. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Quickfire 5.
Today's special guest is Rasmus Ingerslev, the chairman of Ursa and Repeat and the founder of Wexa Virtual. Welcome to the show, Rasmus.
Thank you so much.
Very excited to have you here today. Now, are you ready for your Quickfire 5 questions?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, question number 1. Why do you do what you do?
My ambition is to help as many people as possible living better lives through regular physical exercise.
And what's the best advice that you've ever received?
I think there was communicate 5 ways, meaning telling the exact same thing at least 5 times.
And what's a personal habit that helps you become better at what you do?
Perseverance. I never give up.
I like that. And what's one book that you would recommend and why?
One that's helped me a lot is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think it's a great guide to life, but also to business, because it's about being a good person and believing in win-win rather than just scarcity.
That's a great book, and we'll make sure we include the link in today's show notes. And last but not least, why should our tribe come back and listen to the main interview today?
Well, I'll share my ups and downs and beliefs in regards to the future of this industry. So listening may save you the money that I spent making my mistakes, and hopefully you'll be inspired by the things that I've done well.
I'm sure they will be inspired. Rasmus, thank you so much for joining us for the Quickfire 5.
Thank you.
It's time for the Fitness Business Podcast Wrap.
Here are my favorite takeaways from today's interview with JLD. He said that you must know your avatar. How many times have we heard that before? He said you must know who your customer is. He also said it's essential that you build and create the right team. Find people who are strong where you are weak. He said to lead by example and always be unique. He asked the question, what are you doing that's different to others? Thank you so much for joining me for another week of the show. Don't forget to tune in next week when Rasmus Ingerslev from Ursa is going to be joining us as our special guest. Remember, tribe, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.
Great show this week that you should be suffering DOMs, delayed onset mind soreness, as you are overloaded and that's when your mind is strengthened. You and your business have been strengthened thanks to the amazing support of our premier sponsor, Active Management. Check out www.activemgmt.com.au only if you want to strengthen your business and your leadership. Don't forget all today's links and notes are found at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, where you can also subscribe and never miss a show and maybe win a prize. Next week is another incredible guest with Chantal, so get ready for more Fit Bizpiration.